Last month, I made a video about XRP and why I think it's almost ready to break out. So today, I'm going to make another video just to show more confirmation of why I still think it's almost ready. So essentially, on the linear scale chart here, you can see this important angle here, right back starting in May of 2017, where it started to really try to break out from that angle and really flip it to support here, here, and here. And it was resistance back here in October 22, and really has been resistance ever since until recently, right? You can see that since I made that video back in July, you can see it's been maintaining really the top side of this angle once again. And yes, this week has had like a liquidity scare all the way back down to the gray angle, but that is just a confirmation of support. And you saw it here, and you saw it all the way down here as well. So essentially, what's happening now? It's just creating more wicks above, like you see. So there's still lots of selling pressure above, and the reason why there's still lots of selling pressure above is you can take a look at the Ichimoku cloud. You can take a look at the Ichimoku cloud right here, and you can see that it keeps pressing against the top of the cloud in that zone. So it's not really ready to break out yet, but the good news is you can see in the future right here that it is getting thinner and thinner and almost ready to flip green again, as long as the price continues to go higher and higher towards the top of the cloud, which currently sits around $65. And also, if you put on the SMAs here, you can see on the weekly chart that the 200-week moving average does also sit at 6176, right? And price currently is just a little bit above it, so it's still battling that on a weekly basis. You can see the battle really started right here since July of 2024, like July 15th, and then it continued for 4 weeks, and this is the fourth week that it's continuing. So I believe as soon as we get like a breakout above, like a pretty good breakout, not just by a couple pennies or so, but maybe like up to 65 to 68 or something, which would also bring it back above the cloud as well. Then I believe it's going to flip that 200-week back to a support. And then once that happens, I believe price will continue higher up towards the blue angle up here into the 90s, right? That will be the next step after it flips that top side of the cloud to support and the 200-week to support. So now let's go take a look at the log scale chart just to show more confluence of this. And here's the log scale chart for XRP, and I have it on the monthly chart just so I can show you what's really going on to the higher time frame. And we all know that I've shown this arc many times, how it's never been really broken, right? It did break a little bit here for a monthly close, but it wasn't really ready yet, so it just kept on being resistance and still has been resistance ever since. But now it's getting really, it's consolidating closer and closer to the top of the arc, which really means that it could be time to almost break out. And a really positive development that I'm seeing is this 100-month moving average has held nicely as support ever since really June 2022. And it's never really closed a month below it. It kind of did right here, but that didn't really matter because this month it was just a wick and it continued higher. But the even better news is this 50-month moving average that you see right here. It is now once again a support, right? You can see that it tried to break it as a support here, but then it kind of drifted lower again just to test the 100 one more time, or two more times, I should say, once here and once here, and now even three times with this current month. But the way this month is shaping up is this 50-month moving average, which sits at 58,559, is looking like it wants to hold as support. This giant wick is pretty much confirmation that it wants to hold as support, as long as there's still 23 days left in the month. As long as the rest of the month continues like this and it closes above, it has a real good possibility to break this arc and continue much, much higher. Now, let me again pull up my Fibonacci levels so I can show you where the price targets are. And here's the Fibonacci levels from the high of 2013 and the low down here of 2014 of July. And again, that 1.618 Fibonacci was more confirmation of a support holding because last month it did wick down below it, right? And that's around 41 cents. But essentially, what's really going to happen is once this arc gets flipped to support, then the next level will be the 2.272 around $3. And then once that breaks, it'll be at least the 2.618 fib around $9. And that could be some resistance for some time because you can see right here in time, maybe in later next year, in like July or summertime of next year, it could be up to that $9 level. And you can see that it's a confluence of the arc and it's a confluence of that 2.618 as well. So this is really more confirmation to me that price is almost ready to break out above that and continue higher. And ultimately, I think it can get to that blue level up here around $29 simply because of this orange level right here was a very, very important support and resistance level. You can see so many wicks through it as the resistance, so many wicks below it as support, right? Or above it as support. So we can see that it's just a matter of time, really, at this point. I believe just you need to have some patience here, but it's going to happen. And one one last thing I want to show you here is the monthly Ichimoku. And the monthly Ichimoku is right here. It's 62.4, right? 62 cents, 62.4 cents. Essentially, that baseline is resistance still. So this is really the last line of resistance before it goes back to this arc and back above to the cloud above, right? And you can see the top of the cloud here does sit around $1, 1.04, which kind of coincides with the linear scale angle. I'll go back there real quick. It coincides right up here around the 90 cents, right? So it could see a wick above to that dollar level and then maybe close a little bit below to consolidate around that dollar level a little longer, right? So essentially, this 62.4 cents needs to get broken. Then it needs to break this arc. And then after that, I can see a quick explosion up to the dollar zone, like 90 cents down, 90 cents to $1. And then once that happens, more consolidation here for a little bit. And then by that time, it could be ready to break the top of the cloud and go directly to the $3 zone because, as you can see, the cloud has a really strong base around that dollar level, right? So once it breaks it, it'll flip it to support and then just continue higher and higher on a monthly basis. So first step is break above that 62.4 cents. Second step, break above the arc. Once it does that, it needs to flip this cloud to support. And once that happens, $3 will be next. So it's just a waiting game, but it's getting more and more bullish as the days go by. So let's just see how the rest of this month closes out. But so far, it's looking pretty positive.